we set to go? Oh, we can cut that out, right? Okay. Kia ora, everybody. It's me again. Welcome to another Hellenic Pagans video. This one is number 28. Hellenic Pagan Videos is brought to you by the Ancient Greek Fellowship of Mystics, and it's recorded at Agape Prophet House in Larissa, Greece. My name is Evan Rigakis, and I am your administrator. So, the topic for this video has been brought up many times, and mainly by researchers. You know, there seems to be some sort of confusion about Greek and Roman with pagan researchers. So we'll get into that. Geez, I got a lot of papers here. All right, so. Okay, in pagan research in general, there seems to be like confusion, or actually a common assumption that Romans copied the Greeks. And that's supported by actually mainstream academics. Beyond the fact that the Romans copied something from every culture they conquered, there is, though, a special relationship when it comes to the Greeks. Before the founding of Rome, from the time of the Etruscans, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not, there was a link with the Greeks. The southern part of the Italian mainland, including the island of Sicily, was populated by Greeks. Sicily had the Pythagorean school of thought. Sicily was also called Magna Graecia, and had even developed their own dialect. It's a mix of Greek and Italian. I've been to Italy a number of times. I've been to Sicily a couple of times. And this dialect sends you to other planets, because it's like, I hear them talking, I understand Greek, I speak Greek. I understand some Italian mixed with Latin and stuff, yeah. So just when I seem to think that I'm understanding what this guy is saying, because he's talking this crazy dialect, all of a sudden it's like, what did you just say? It's like, just like you're about to understand it, then he just sends you a monkey wrench into it and blows it all to shit. So it's a really weird experience, but there is such a dialect. I don't remember, they actually have a name for it, but I don't recall it right now. And of course, being a lazy ass that I am, I didn't research it enough to actually find the name, because I'm a wise guy. And it's still spoken, yeah, so it's still spoken in some parts of modern day Sicily. If you're Greek and you approach an Italian in Italy, especially not so much in foreign countries, but in Italy, once they hear that you're Greek, they have this saying. It's called una razza, una faccia. It means one race, one face. But that's generally the attitude that Italians have with Greeks, is that we're very related. Where's my star of Nix? Well, there you go. Okay, so another funny thing. Now, before I get off this, Italy and Sicily, I've never been able to find out, and I have done my research, but I haven't been able to find out why Italians, I mean, what's up with Sicily? You know, I'm from Italy and Sicily, or it's Italy and Sicily, like they're two separate countries. I mean, this is the way Italians speak. Like Sicily is kept apart from, they're called Black Italians or something like that. I don't know what's up with that. If you guys, if there's any Italians out there, and you know why they do this, please put it in the commentary. Let me know. It's driving me crazy. Okay, I'll get back. So, as true as this may be, it is equally misleading. The similarities seem to be like it's basically the same race, but it's actually misleading. Researchers of the Hellenic paganism proceed with the assumption that they are carbon copies. You know, they're either Greek or Italian, it's the same thing. Roman, it's the same thing. Pagan researchers seeking the ancient Greek religion find it in fragments, causing large gaps in the religion or in their research. And they'll proceed then to, with the assumption they can fill in the gaps by supplementing the Roman equivalent. But somehow this tends to confuse rather than clarify. For instance, Greeks didn't have a winter solstice festival, whereas the Romans did. They called it Saturnalia. Saturnalia. You know. But you see, even the similarities have remarkable differences that distinguish the Roman from the Greek. For instance, until the Romans came, ancient Greek men grew beards. It was a sign of manhood. That's why all men that started to grow a beard would grow it and say, you know, I'm a man, whatever, and grow their hair long, very long. And whereas the Romans, when they came along, they cut their hair. They cut their hair short and were clean shaven. So my art teachers told me this is how we distinguish between ancient Greek and Roman copies. A Roman copy, the hair is short and there's no beard, clean shaven. You know, as I said, the Roman Empire took what they wanted from all cultures they conquered, but gave it all their own spin on it. We should not assume the Roman copies were identical copies, but rather corrupted copies. Though it is very difficult it must be kept in mind that Romans and Greeks are two distinctly separate peoples. We often get the question, is there really any difference between the Roman and the Greek gods? The common reply, it seems like the Romans just took the Greek pantheon and they changed the names. Zeus became Jupiter, Poseidon became Neptune, and they don't really have any major differences. In truth, the Romans did not copy the gods of the Greeks, since they were already in the culture before Rome was founded. Romans did not use all the Greek gods, only from the Olympian pantheon and maybe some from Titan, like Saturn is Kronos, and had a few of their own gods, like Janus, the god of transitions, and Quirinus. My pronunciation, do not. The deified founder of Rome, Romulus. They didn't change the names. They were translated into their own language. Fun fact. Okay, here we go. The planets the world calls Mars, Jupiter, Venus, etc. But the Greeks don't call them Mars and Jupiter and Venus. They call them Ares, Zeus, Aphrodite. Instead, yeah. So the differences are in the concepts behind the gods and everything that seems copied. The way they thought of the gods, their relationship with the gods, there are some minor differences in the attributes as well. But the way they thought of the gods was very different than the Greeks. Their relationship with the gods was very different than the Greeks, as well as the attributes. The Ares is not considered so much the protector of the people, but Mars is the protector of farmers or something like that. So there is a difference in attributes as well. Greeks saw the gods as perfect beings. Plato called them highly evolved intelligences who came here from islands in the sky, planets. Most importantly, Greeks saw the gods as teachers and their own ancestors, actually, which they honored with blood sacrifices. Not necessarily human. And there is really no recording of human sacrifices except from what the Christians tell us. But you know what? They're full of shit. Sorry. Okay, another good example is the temples of the Greeks and Romans. Although they look similar, there are significant differences. The Roman idea of a temple is a center for worship, the house of the gods. The choice of location was political instead of spiritual. This is where the modern notion of a temple comes from, or the Western notion of a temple. The ancient Greek temple was very different. The altar of the temple was not inside the temple, but outside, in front of the temple. The Greek temple was a memorial monument, not a house of the gods per se. The Greek had reason for choosing the location and building the temple. The temple was erected to commemorate an event when the god or goddess had appeared at this location, and there was a story around it. So there would be also a festival to celebrate the event, and where the people would honor the god with blood sacrifices and other offerings was at the temple that commemorated the event. Offerings usually were something called honey cakes. Google it. Ancient Greeks honey cakes. Maybe you can even find a recipe. I think I did or something. For the ancient Greek, honoring and worshiping were two different things. A worshiper was someone who has devoted his or her life in service to that God. In service meant they would maintain the temple, cleaning, cleansing the temple, and conduct ceremonies for that purpose of cleansing, but also the festivals that were around this. These worshipers or devotees were called priests, priestesses. For example, let's take an example. Okay, examples: Parthenon and the Kyberion. Okay, so when researching, you find a temple, you must also find the story the temple commemorates. Right now, I'm actually I found a temple in this remote village up on Mount Olympus, and they discovered a temple of Apollo there, and basically researching it, and I found the story behind it being that this is where Apollo stopped on his descent from Mount Olympus to Delphi. He stopped at this village and got married. So I'm still in the research for it, and I'm going to make a video about it. I'll probably go to the site and even, take some video of that. But not right now. Now we have this. So, as to the question of Roman numerals. Okay, before we get into that. So, the Parthenon is a temple on the Acropolis in Athens, and it commemorates it's devoted to Athena. Okay, so the story that goes with it is when they were naming Athens, Poseidon and Athena had a contest to see who would win and be, named, the city named after. So this story is basically why they built the temple there. So the Parthenon is to commemorate the contest between Poseidon and Athena, or the naming of Athens. The Kyberion, which is a temple found at the archaeological site of Thebes, and it's dedicated to the Kyberi, who used to populate that very city. One of its residents way back is a character called Prometheus. Yeah. So, the story of Prometheus is basically the reason for the building of the temple, the Kibirian, to commemorate the bringing of fire, because the Kibiri are, fire deities, primordial fire deities, and so is Prometheus. So basically, I'm digressing a lot here. So basically, that's the difference between the two temples, the Roman temple and the Greek temple. There's also a question to the question of Roman numerals. Are there Greek numerals? And the answer is yes, of course. The ancient Greeks used letters instead of numbers. Each letter of the Greek alphabet has a numerical value. Example, alpha is 1, beta or beta is 2, gamma is 3, etc., etc. And they call it alphabetic numerals, or Ionic numerals, or Ionian numerals, or Alexandrian numerals. Take your flippin' pick. Anyways, the numerical values of the Greek letters is easily found. Just Google it, really. Anything numerology, Greek numerology, you'll find it. Unlike Roman numerals, who use a select few letters, Greeks would use the whole alphabet. So, the way, let's take for example 354 would be written in Greek and in Greek letters would be ta or t, nu or n, and delta, d, delta. So TND is 354. It doesn't say anything. It just, that's how you can tell it's a numeral rather than a word. But then getting into numerology, that gets into a lot of other things. So, pagan researchers discover most remarkable differences in the concepts behind the similarities. In fact, this holds true with all European pagan traditions, most especially when it comes to religion. For Romans, religion was about the gods. For the Greeks, religion was about the individual. Greeks were developing a religion of reason, whereas the Romans developed a religion of faith. They choked the life out of the notion of reason and critical thinking, and set faith as the standard for religion, which has carried on to this day. So all this about worshiping the gods is really what the Romans told you that the Greeks did. The Romans continued to develop a religion into a political instrument. It was a Hail Mary attempt to save the falling empire. So, but this goes on past the scope of this video, correct? But thank you for, what? Am I already at the end? Oh shit, okay. Oh, sorry guys, that was it. I thought I was going to get into a lot more of this. Anyways, the thing is that, okay, we can't really find a pagan tradition complete, because the Romans, when they enforced the official Roman religion, Christianity, they basically, destroyed all the temples and destroyed every facet of what the ancient religion was. So, in any pagan culture here in Europe, this is what you're going to find. You're going to find just, fragments here and there, and researchers really have to dive into a lot more than just what they find of the religion. Remember, to really understand the spirituality of a people, you have to look at the people. Look to the folklore. They'll tell you what kind of religion they had. And to tell you the truth, the Romans made religion a political instrument. Remember that. So that's not the role of religion. Religion stops being spiritual and becomes political. So what we're left with, the researchers really are left with developing what they can consider, from what they've found, to be a pagan religion. Unfortunately, to be complete, you have to have some sort of a blueprint of what a tradition entails. But that's what you'll find in the books, the Thriskia books. Basically, even though they are different, Roman and Greek, still, when you're developing your own tradition, you can mix in everything together, and so long as you have a blueprint of the tradition, that you would develop. You might be into the Greek, but you might also be into the Norse at the same time, or Celtic, or Egyptian, or whatever. But see, this is what it means, know thyself. You develop your own tradition. So you have elements of the Greek. Maybe we use the Greek as the blueprint on which we add everything that we want. So using the Greek as the foundation, then you would put in your Norse gods or your Egyptian gods, and you would understand where they all come from. But this is your tradition. This is an expression of yourself. Okay. So, anyways, if you have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll answer. Okay, thank you for watching till the end. Please help the channel by hitting the subscription button, and if you do like the video, may each of you find your way into the lap of the gods. Okay, until next time, guys. Thanks for watching. And that's it.